That's tomorrow. And that is it for us today. Okay, I don't know. Whatever it is, it's not right on the teleprompter. I don't know what that is. I've never seen that.
No, there is. We are going to do Sting, yeah.
Okay, but...
Okay.
Now, I can't read it. There's no words on it.
Okay. Ready? Sure.
There's no words there. To play us out. What does that mean? To play us out.
Sting is going to do. It's a video. Sting video. Okay.
What is
for credits?
I don't know what that means. To play us out. What does that mean? To end the show?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Go. Go.
In 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it.
Okay. In 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. And we will leave you with a... I can't do it.
Okay.
We'll do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it, and we'll do it live.
Right.
Fucking thing sucks.
In 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks again for watching. We'll leave you with Sting and a cut off his new album. Take it away.
I look forward to you dodging the question again. Go ahead.
You're doing it. You're doing it.
No, you.
So, you.
The problem with our system of law is that it's not even our system. It's based on Roman law. That system, best known for killing Jesus Christ. Say we got off on the wrong foot. The first democratic vote I ever heard of, Pontius Pilate, the Roman governor, brings out Barabbas and Jesus and goes, we're stepping out of this. It's up to you. Only you people decide who lives, who dies. Got Barabbas. You see him around town. He murders people. There's nothing else you would know him from except murdering people. Got this new guy, Jesus. He just got here Monday. We think he's a false prophet, but we get a lot of those. It's basically a misdemeanor in Judea. And Jesus lost. He didn't lose. Jesus got swept. And we kept voting that way. Why? Why would the Founding Fathers keep a system of law where the Son of God could lose to a serial killer? Why? Because they felt they could neutralize the mob rule aspect of democracy with representatives. So when you go outside tonight, if there's somebody naked waving a machete around, which I'm sure you've all seen a couple of times, you don't think like a mob, like let's stone them to death, burn them alive like the good old days. You think representative, middleman. Somebody should call a cop, because in a representative democracy, there's a guy with a mustache that passed a civil service test. He's supposed to show up and go, what do you want me to do? And you go, get in the middle. And there were other systems of law before ours too that worked well. Duels, vendettas, vigilante justice. Nobody sued for slander in the days of duels. You'd take care of it yourself. You'd walk up, I heard you said the Duke of Gloucester was a scoundrel. And the guy's like, yeah, so what? So I'm the Duke of Gloucester. That's a lot. On guard, you slithering rat catcher, you know. Vendetta. In the days of vendetta, some other family would come and start grazing their animals on your land, which is that's an insult. That's like if somebody puts their jacket on the back of your seat. That's an intrusion on your territory. So they go to the elders, what do? They're grazing animals on our land. Do we kill them? It's like, you don't kill them. You let them, they're poor like us. They have 4 yaks, we have 4 yaks. Let them grow, let them have family, let them graze, let them be prosperous, kids, grandkids.
Kamala wouldn't have this conversation. She can't, because she's not smart. You know, she's not a smart person, by the way. She can't have this conversation. And Biden, we don't even have to talk about it. I mean, he couldn't have this conversation. He would have given up on the first half of a question. He would have walked out. He would have said, where am I? Where am I going? So anyway, but
with the swipe of my pen, I can charge someone with a misdemeanor, the lowest level offense possible. And by virtue of that swipe of my pen, you will have to go to a courthouse and stand in line. You will have to come out of pocket and hire an attorney. You may get arrested for a few hours. You will be embarrassed in your community. You will miss time from coming onto the Google campus, all because with the swipe of my pen I've charged you with a crime, which I may choose to dismiss 2 weeks later. It's an incredible amount of power.
So we just out here bragging about ruining people's lives, them losing jobs, them paying lawyers. Oh, but I can make it go away with one little swoop of my pen. This isn't concerning to anybody. This isn't egoic. We all know Trump is egoic. We know that. Now, for a little context, she did say, so therefore you have to put people in those positions that will do the right thing. But is doing the right thing locking up tens of thousands of people for misdemeanor marijuana violations? Because I know I did about 30 overnights, lost jobs, etc., embarrassed in my community. So if you don't think she's just egoic and power hungry and more controlled, you're not paying attention. Fuck both sides.
I have as a prosecutor is that with a swipe of my
warning. Going to try and get compliance, but this is now effectively a riot.
49 hours declaring it a riot.
Cruiser 5 to 50, be advised, Capitol Police 1 advised they're trying to breach and get into the Capitol.
We have a breach of the Capitol! Breach of the Capitol! We need to hold the doors of the Capitol. I need court support. We lost the line. We lost the line. All MPDs get back! All MPDs get back up to the upper deck! All MPDs get back to the upper deck!
They were peaceful people. These were great people. The crowd was unbelievable. And I mentioned the word love, the love in the air. I've never seen anything like it.
Tradition of What Would Jell-O Do? I go up and down with our President Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. He has a lot to answer for. Just ask Anita Hill and all the people who went to jail, and some of them are still there because of his drug laws. We all have to thank him and show him the respect for the respect he showed us by pulling out of the presidential race. That took a lot, especially for somebody with that big an ego and maybe good as being president, but campaigning at the same time. He just couldn't do it anymore. You know, you got to give it up to the guy and give him a hug if I could for doing the right thing and stepping aside. So now, people saying, oh, it's a crisis, there's only less than 100 days left to the election. How are we ever going to get an election done in less than 100 days? Parliamentary democracies have done this for eons. The prime minister, the premier, whatever, in the provinces in Canada, they call the election, just like Britain and so many other countries. And then within a couple months, even 45 days, maybe a little longer, there's the election. It's all a really intense frenzy. People are interested, people vote, and then it's all done. It's not a 4-year campaign, mainly to benefit the election industrial complex. But best of all, if everything is like that, all of a sudden, they're fun. Basically, I was saying he should just release all the delegates and campaign anyway and not have a brokered convention of any kind. I've seen old conventions like that when I was a kid. They're really, really fun. They're not just coronations for the election industrial complex. But the ballot rules in Ohio and whatnot, yeah, they've got to turn in their full slate any day now. But meanwhile, it's Kamala mania, Cammy mania. Look at all the money coming in. Oh, yay. People are excited again. Even the Nikki Haley voters are suddenly going to cross over and vote for her. Maybe. We can't let all this go to our heads. Sure, everybody's smiling, everybody's happy, having fun, but those polls and stuff, to the degree that you can even believe them, have you ever been polled? I haven't. The needle has barely moved. One down, Biden, one bigger one to go. Dirty Donnie Trump-a-muck, who, thanks to Joe and Garland twiddling their thumbs for a year, still isn't in prison. And instead, he may get back into the White House instead. Trump is not toast. The Trumpsies especially are not toast. What do you do about those followers anyway? They're running for Congress, they're running for senator, they're running for governor, they're running for state legislature, they're running for sheriff. School board, remember Moms for Liberty? They're all running too. And if the Trumpsies get to wag the dog in either the House or the Senate, they will basically be collaring the dog. Spiked collar with a very short chain leash on President Harris, who can't get a damn thing done. And of course, if they got the White House too, you're going to wish it was still the Supreme Court we have now. Believe you me. And let's not forget, even though he's stepping aside kind of as the Senate Republican leader, Mitch McConnell, just like Pelosi kind of stepped aside but still runs the damn place. He said that if Biden or Harris got another term, they would just make sure if they ran the Senate that not one federal judge or pretty much any nominee ever got confirmed until proper conservatives were put in instead, and they got the message. Of course, if there's any of the shenanigans from the Trump-a-muck criminals to try and steal another election, it won't be Pelosi as Speaker or Pence as Vice President. Mike Johnson, hardcore election denier who does everything by the book, the good book, the Bible, he will be in charge of whether or not to let somebody steal an election, depending on what Jesus tells you to do.
Shots fired at Trump rally. Holy shit! God damn!
And that come take a look at what happened.
Holy shit! Holy shit!
Let me get my shoes. Let me get my shoes.
I got you, sir. I got you, sir.
Let me get my shoes, sir.
Hold that in your head. It's bloody.
So we gotta move to the bus. Move to the bus. Let me get my shoes. Okay.
Oh, I can't see it.
Watch out.
Damn! Holy fuck, are you kidding me? Bro, they shoot him, he gets... Oh my god. Jesus, bro. That is insane. Holy shit. Wow. I can't fucking believe it. I cannot fucking believe it, man. This is insane.
And this is where MAGA comes to talk. Oh, man. Big scandal has just dropped with Kamala Harris and how she got into law school. And, you know, it's amazing. This is what happened. She was in the Senate for like 5 minutes. The next thing you know, she's running with Joe Biden to be the vice president of the United States. And now, without getting a single vote, with skipping the entire primary process in the last 2 election cycles, all of a sudden, she's the nominee without any votes, and we're getting all of this, well, truth about her. What is it that liberal women like to say? My truth. Well, Kamala Harris's truth is pretty brutal. So there's been some reporting today about how she got into law school. I got a couple stories here. It's being reported in many, many sources, but I pulled up two versions from two different outlets. I'll read through them so we can get the bottom of Kamala Harris's law school admission scandal. Here's the headline. This is in the Daily Signal. Kamala Harris admitted to law school through Adverse Experiences program, though parents of hers were tenured professor. Through adverse experiences? A girl born in Berkeley, grew up in a fancy schmancy part of Canada, and she has adverse experiences? That's what she said. Which, you know, by the way, that means she took a spot in law school away from someone who really had adverse experiences, like C. Thomas Howe and Soul Man, right? Okay, this is from the Daily Signal. Vice President Kamala Harris, which soon will be former Vice President Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris was admitted to law school through University of California, San Francisco's Legal Education Opportunity Program for students with educational disadvantage, economic hardship, or disability, according to the law school's magazine. Educational disadvantage, both of her parents are tenured college professors. Economic hardship, tenured college professors make a good living. Or disability? What's her disability? You know, this is criminal. And it's immoral. Democrat nominee Kamala Harris is a 1989 graduate. Oh, I'm an 89 graduate too, of high school. I graduated high school in 1989. Democratic nominee Kamala Harris is a 1989 graduate of the program, according to a 2018 article in the University of California Law San Francisco magazine. LEOP, that's the legal, liberals, they got all these acronyms. LEOP is the Legal Education Opportunity Program for students with educational disadvantage, economic hardship, or disability, offers admission to approximately 50 high-achieving students each year, up to 20% of the class, who have experienced major life hurdles, such as educational disadvantage, economic hardship, or disability, the article says. The majority are for students of color. So it'd be very interesting if someone in the media did some research on this, find out what students applied that were turned down that year. Whose seat in law school did Kamala Harris steal? Besides traditional admissions criteria, such as grades and LSAT scores, the article continues, the program also considers students' overall potential and the obstacles they've overcome. What obstacles did she overcome? The Legal Education Opportunity Program provides extra help to its law students, offering a week-long orientation, academic counseling, practice exams. That means you get the exams in advance. Oh, my goodness. And help prepping for the bar exam and job interviews, among other resources and services. Well, remember, she failed the bar. The Kamala Harris campaign did not respond to the Daily Signal's questions about which major life hurdles qualified the vice president for Legal Education Opportunity Program. Oh, my goodness. This is bad. This is really bad. This is, you know what this is? This is fraud. William H. Macy's wife and that actress from Full House went to prison for academic dishonesty, right? Lying on admission. Isn't that what they did? William H. Macy's wife and the woman from Full House, didn't they go to prison for lying on college admissions forms for their kids? Kamala Harris did that. Should she go to prison? After moving to the United States from India, Kamala Harris's mother earned a PhD from the University of California, Berkeley, and became a researcher and professor. Her mother worked at the University of Illinois and the University of Wisconsin, spent time in France and Italy, and received tenure at McGill University in Montreal. That's where Kamala grew up. The would-be vice president, Kamala, lived in Canada with her mother and sister from age 12 until she graduated high school. From 75 to 76, when Kamala was 12, professors at several universities, including McGill, made an average of $28,751 per year, according to a study of professors' salaries at 61 schools from that time. This was over double the median household income at the time. The median household income at the time that her mother was a professor there was $11,800, and her mother was making over $28,000. Her father held a PhD from Berkeley, became a tenured professor at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, then returned to California to become a professor of economics at Stanford. The New Yorker described her father, Donald Harris, as a renowned Marxist economist from Jamaica who taught at Stanford University for decades. The University of California San Francisco Law School did not respond to the Daily Signal's request for comment about what qualified Kamala Harris for this program. Kamala has faced multiple accusations of plagiarism in the past week as investigative journalists uncovered passages in her books and her written testimony that copy long passages elsewhere verbatim. And they got the examples here. Okay, now here's another. I mean, this is brutal. Kamala Harris stole a seat in law school from a student who was deserving of it. Okay, here's another article. This is on allsides.com. Kamala Harris accused of entering law school under a hardship program she did not qualify for. Oh my goodness. This is criminal. Criminal. If you're new to my channel, by the way, my name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. All right, make sure you subscribe. Oh, this is bad. For Kamala. It's good for America. All right. Vice President Kamala Harris. I got to click the link to read the full story. Vice President Kamala Harris was reportedly admitted to the University of California Law School San Francisco under a hardship program that she didn't qualify for. Yeah, this is just like Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas. Yep, that's right. The Legal Educational Opportunity Program offers admission to approximately 50 high-achieving students each year, up to 20% of the class, who have experienced major life hurdles, such as educational disadvantage, both of her parents tenured PhDs, economic hardship, her mother was making twice the median income, or disability, according to the University of California Law San Francisco magazine. The same report lists Kamala Harris as part of the school's 89 alumni who benefited from the program. According to critic Laura Powell, a civil liberties attorney, this is a big problem given that Kamala Harris was anything but disadvantaged. Kamala Harris's mother came from the highest caste in India. Whoa, I didn't know that. Her mother came from the highest caste in India? Ooh, what's that? Let me look that up. Hold on. Highest caste in India. What color dot is that? Red's the poor people, right? What is the highest caste in India? The highest caste in India is the Brahmin, which is at the top of the general category. Okay, so what is that? Let me see.
Yeah, because democracy is another one of those great words. But really, democracy, first of all, we live collectively in a democracy, which is fine. Individually, you have not lived in democracy. Your life has not been, a sliver of it has been in democracy. 8 hours a day you've been at work. That's a dictatorship. You don't vote at work. We want Thursday afternoons off, we voted. You're fired. 6 hours a day, you're with your family, that's a tribal system. An hour and a half a day, you're on the subway, that's a failed anarchist experiment. And 6 hours a day, you're asleep. So you lived in democracy 2.5 hours a day of your life. Half that time, you're arguing over mispronunciations with Alexa. waiting for your name to be called out at Starbucks? Because democracy is not in a functioning system. It's a great concept. We don't use it at work. We don't use it at school. You need a teacher, a strong leader, a teacher. You see what happens when the teacher leaves and the kids are in the playground for recess? They form their own government, and it ain't a democracy. It's law of the jungle. Suddenly warlords start to emerge, giving out orders. Trip him, he's got books. Push him, he's got glasses. Pull her hair, she's too quiet. It becomes a pack of hyenas looking for the gazelle with the braces and the inhaler. Yeah. Democracy is, first of all, founding fathers didn't come up with it. Greeks invented it. They just rode the wave. They were in the right place at the right time. Now they're on the right side of history, which is all anybody wants anymore, to be on the right side of history. What a foolish goal. You'll never know.
Law enforcement, are you kidding me? Tonight in Grand Rapids, multiple law enforcement officers stood behind Donald Trump as he spoke. People that are elected officials like sheriffs, others hired to protect and enforce the law for the entire citizenry, not for a political party, explicitly forbidden from being a partisan, authoritarian police force standing on stage, entirely unethical, probably illegal, on top of which Donald Trump has been indicted 91 times. He's liable for sexual assault. His entire business was found to be fraudulent. And law enforcement has the fucking gall to stand on stage with him. Enough is enough!
On the morning of January 6, 2021, my primary assignment was to cover then President Trump's rally at the Ellipse. I had walked down the National Mall from the US Capitol and was taken aback by the size of the crowd. It was jarring to say the least because it had been the most amount of people that I had seen gathered together in one place since the start of the pandemic. You could definitely feel the tension in the air throughout the entire rally. Many people were chanting about how the election was stolen, saying how they wanted to march on the Capitol to voice their displeasure, which they obviously did.
Can't breathe. You son of a bitches should be hanged. How about we make it happen if Trump doesn't win? Let's hang these son of a bitches. If Trump doesn't win, let's fucking hang them.
As I arrived on the West Terrace, I had seen people pushing past barricades. I just instinctively put my riot helmet on and my gas mask, and I remember thinking to myself, I can't believe this is happening right now. And quite honestly, with seeing how prepared, and looking back on now, how prepared some of the Capitol Police officers appeared to be, they also were probably thinking the same thing as well.
You fucking traitors! You fucking traitors! How dare you! How dare you! How dare you! How dare you! You're traitors! You're traitors! You're traitors! You're traitors! You're traitors! How dare you! How dare you, traitors! How dare you, traitors! You swore an oath! You swore an oath!
As my time on the West Front progressed, honestly, I think my state of shock never really subsided. As a photographer, we have to be present to capture the scene that is unfolding in front of us. That means that you're also exposed to some of the dangers or crowd control tactics that are being used by law enforcement. And every time I would see an officer point something in my direction, I would generally dart out of the way and make sure I got to a safe distance while also trying to simultaneously photograph the scene as I was moving.
I'm trying. No!
Awesome, thank you. Excuse me, guys. Excuse me. Pardon me? Excuse me. Excuse me. Sorry. Go ahead. Thank you. I had received a message from a colleague that had said that a large group was flooding into the east front of the Capitol building. I made the choice, especially after starting to feel a little unsafe on the west front after somebody had identified me as press and started following me around, that I decided my best bet would be to move locations and photograph what was on the east front of the Capitol. Excuse me, right behind you. Excuse me, sorry, I just gotta go right quick. Oh, sorry about that. Excuse me. Excuse me, right behind you. Sorry, right behind you. Excuse me. Sorry, excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me.
Guys, please. Form up. Reform. Alright, hold on. Reform up. Form up. Let's go. Let's go. Move. Where's Garrett? Keep moving. Sorry. Love you guys. Excuse me. Pardon? Don't break it. Yeah, this is cool, man. Tell you what. Excuse me. Sorry, excuse me. Pardon. Excuse me. Excuse me. Right behind you. Excuse me. Sorry, right behind you, sir. I'm just gonna try and cut right through. Thank you. Appreciate it. There we go. We're liking it right now.
and a new poll was released that 72% of American Jews now side with Kamala Harris. So I took to the streets of Borough Park to ask residents there a simple question.
Do you want Trump or Harris to win?
Trump.
Why Trump?
Because he would do much better in the office than Harris.
In what way? What would he do differently?
Stop the wars, making the things go down, prices, everything.
He would stop inflation?
Yeah.
How would he stop the wars, do you think, in Israel and Ukraine? What do you think he would do?
Send in his troops.
Send in American troops?
Yeah.
So do you want Trump, when he becomes in office, to send American troops into Gaza?
Yeah.
You want that? Okay. And how do you see this war ending in Gaza?
If Trump is in office, it will end smoothly.
Do you want Israel to be in control of all of Gaza after this is over?
Yeah.
Yeah? Any other reasons that you like Trump?
Not really.
Are you voting for Trump or Harris?
Trump 2024, 2030, 2040, all year round, all life.
Can you say why? Why do you want Trump?
I think he has better policies. He has our economy in mind. He wants to help us with the immigrants. Yeah, I mean, I just don't think Harris is a good option.
What do you mean by Trump wants to help with immigrants? What do you mean by that?
By closing off the borders, and ever since the borders were open, we've been seeing a lot of bad things happen to our country. We don't know who's coming in, and it doesn't feel like America's safe anymore by letting anybody come in. So
despite everything that's going on in the world, there's still about 50% of Jews in America are liberal. What do you say to those Jews in America?
I think they need to get their priorities straight and see who really has their best interests in mind. Trump loves Israel, Trump loves the Jews.
Do you want Trump or Harris to win?
Of course, Trump.
Why Trump?
Not because he was very good. He does what he says. He's a real leader.
In what way is he a real leader besides doing what he says? Is there something about his policies that you like?
Look, he's a little crazy, but he's good for the country. He's good for the world. He's good for everybody.
Why is he good for the world?
Because he knows how to organize everything and how to straighten up everything. So far, he was very good. You have nothing to say against him. And you have plenty to say against the others.
Right now, there are a lot of Jews in America that are voting for Harris. What do you say to those Jews?
They're stupid.
Okay.
Why are they stupid? And they're wrong.
Okay. Why are they wrong?
Because this is not what we need in the world. It's not just a matter of Jews, it's a matter of the world. You have to deal with the North Korea, you have to deal with China, you have to deal with so many other problems. And he knows how to fix those things.
Why do you feel like Harris couldn't deal with North Korea and all those problems? What worries you about her?
Well, the fact is that he when he was president, he took care of things that the Democrats never took care of. So,
like what things?
A lot of things, people who sit in prison and they didn't deserve to sit in prison because of crooked system, and it's time we should have it correct.
Prison reform that he's referring to is when Trump reduced the mandatory minimum sentences for certain nonviolent drug crimes. He offered vocational training for inmates and allowed inmates to be placed closer to their families. There were many other things that Trump did for inmates, and you might just remember all of this because it was the only time you saw him working on something with Kim Kardashian.
Donald Trump.
Why Trump?
Trump is a good, strong president for America.
Why do you think that?
There's a border with Mexico.
Okay.
That's a good thing. The immigrants is a big problem. Then Israel, it's a war in Israel. We need to stop it. Trump is in Ukraine, the same thing. Trump is a strong guy. He's gonna stop it.
Do you want Trump or Harris to win?
Trump.
Why Trump?
He's smart.
Well, why? What makes him smart? I mean, what gives him that credibility you've given him now that he's smart?
He understands to every policy. He's strong, and he's not like a flip-flop person.
He's not a flip-flop person?
Yes.
Okay, that's fair.
I can't stress how difficult it was to get some of these interviews. In a few of them, I actually had to stop the video to do a prayer in exchange for a minute-long interview. Almost everybody in the town didn't want to be on camera, and that's why later on in the video, you'll see me do just 2 other interviews in a different area.
Do you want Trump or Harris to win?
Trump.
Why Trump?
Because he has more experience. He has more experience, I think. I think the economy will be better with him. The world respects him more than the Harris does. That's my opinion.
Are you for Trump or Harris?
Former President Donald Trump.
Why Trump?
Trump understands the people better. He understands the needs of our people in detail and our nation at whole.
Trump has said many times that he's going to stop the war in Israel.
Notice something? Almost everyone in Borough Park has a flip phone because it's kosher. They're actually called kosher phones because they're not connected to the internet and there are no camera capabilities. You'll see most YouTubers do interviews with the Orthodox community in Crown Heights because while many people there are Orthodox, they are not as secluded from the outside world and still not as religious. I actually spoke to an Orthodox man off camera who had no idea that there were anti-Israel protests going on around the world. So that gives you a little context as to why it was so difficult to actually make this video.
Trump has said many times that he's going to stop the war in Israel, he's going to stop the war in Ukraine. Do you believe that he will do that?
It's not up to him.
Not up to him. Why is it not up to him? Tell me.
That war is a predominant war that's written all up in the Torah about, and until Mashiach's day, it won't settle. How it'll play itself out, only Hashem could play it out.
Is there any other reason that you like Trump? We've heard many different responses, so I'd love to hear yours.
I like Trump because I think Trump is a leader and he could lead this country and the people, make sure secure jobs, secure family life, and establish cities, build the people and the communities.
My last question is, there are many Jews that are in America who are voting for Harris. What do you say to them?
They should do whatever they like.
Should do whatever they like? You don't want to convince them?
Everybody has the right to do what they want.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, now we're in a deal?
Yes. Do you want Trump or Harris to win?
Trump.
Why Trump?
Trump, потому что евреям помогает хорошо.
Why is he good?
Because he helped a lot of Jews.
How is he helping Jews?
He did in Israel, Jerusalem.
What did he do in Jerusalem?
Embassy. I always said embassy.
Does whoever the president is, does it change your life here?
Could be changed. Yeah.
In what way?
Good way.
Okay, thanks, man. Do you want Trump or Harris to win?
Me, Trump.
Why Trump?
Because he's more powerful, he's very strong. The world's scared from him. It's good. We need this in this time of the year.
In here?
Yeah, and we're from Trump because he's for Israel. And unlike this...
I was selected because I, Kamala Harris, and your Democrat candidate for president, because Joe Biden finally exposed his senility at the debate. Thanks, Joe. I was selected because I am the ultimate diversity hire. I'm both a woman and a person of color. So if you criticize anything I say, you're both sexist and racist. I may not know the first thing about running the country, but remember, that's a good thing if you're a deep state puppet. I had 4 years under the tutelage of the ultimate deep state puppet, a wonderful mentor, Joe Biden. Joe taught me rule number 1, carefully hide your total incompetence. I take insignificant things and I discuss them as if they're significant. And I believe that exploring the significance of the insignificant is in itself significant. Talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time, and there is such great significance to the passage of time. Another trick is trying to sound black. I pretend to celebrate Kwanzaa, and in my speeches, I always do my best Barack Obama impression. So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type. And okay, look, maybe my work addressing the root causes of the border crisis were catastrophic, but my knowledge of international politics is truly shocking. The United States shares a very important relationship, which is an alliance with the Republic of North Korea. It is an alliance that is strong and enduring. And just remember, when voting this November, it is important to see what can be unburdened by what has been. And by what has been, I mean Joe Biden. You think the country went to over the past 4 years? You ain't seen nothing yet.
In some ways, Congress and down ballot is even more important. Think local, which means for crying out loud, for once, Democrats, you've got your coronation convention, which less and less people watch every time because it's just a coronation. And it's all about me, the presidential candidate. Me, vote for me. Nothing about coattails. You need better Congress people. We need better senators. We need better DAs. We need better state attorneys general and election commissioners, that kind of thing. They never say anything about that. It's all me. Robert Dole was going to lose in a landslide to Bill Clinton in 96. So what does he do at the convention? He runs against Dole instead of against Newt Gingrich, who behind the scenes was kind of his buddy, getting some of the worst legislation that's blown up on our face, Telecom Act, letting the banks off the hook so they crashed the economy, NAFTA, all that. Gingrich was their buddy. And then, of course, Harris is going to have to do a lot more than she already has to distance herself from her boss when it comes to Israel. Hubert Humphrey, who last minute got the nomination for the Democrats in 68, he would not cross his boss, Lyndon Johnson, on Vietnam. Not one little bit. Right when everybody was crying for an end to the war, and Tricky Dick Nixon outflanked him on the left, saying he had a secret plan to end the war, which of course he had nothing of the kind. He was just going to expand it so the bomb makers could make more money. Can you imagine where we would be today if Nixon had never been president? These things have consequences. There will be lots and lots and lots of really intense protests. They want a speaker on behalf of the people who are not committed to speak on Gaza at the convention, which would be a very, very, very good idea, as would Harris having the guts to go out and talk to the protesters. Not all of whom are reasonable, but a lot of them are. Meantime, all we're hearing about, Cammie Mania. Trump raised $130 million, but she raised over $200 million in the same period. The money doesn't mean a thing here. Polls aren't really changing. Trump is doing a little bit more, but not in proportion to that. And she ain't Trump. That's the best calling card she had. The reason Biden thought he could actually win, I'm not Trump. That's what got him in the last time. People didn't vote for him for the most part. They were voting against Donald Trump by a margin of 7 million. Got to go more than that. Remember when Clinton's big phrase was, "It's the economy, stupid," that brought down the first George Bush for good reason? Well, this time it is the abortions, stupid. It's Roe v. Wade, stupid. It's women's rights to control their own body at a time when the other side has Project 2025 to put in, where they're going to get rid of even contraceptives, birth control, because that's killing babies too, or so says Amy Coney Barrett, who doesn't even want people masturbating or climaxing or anything like that. That's the other one. Project 2025 is only beginning to surface in the minds of most people. What's that? I can't wrap my hands around that. That's 900 pages of psychobabble and stuff. No, that is the detailed plan on exactly how, since their chosen vessel, whether they would have wanted a better one or not, and DeSantis flamed out, Trump will be dictator on day one, and all the people he can hire, all the people he can fire, all the regulations he can get rid of with a swipe of a pen, including most environmental rules, labor safety, as many, to abolish the Department of Education. They want that too. Women have no more rights anymore, but the police have lots and lots and lots of rights to get government off your backs. They can beat your backbone and paralyze you or kill you. This is what they should do if it's 2025, stupid. Wake up, stupid Democrats. Print up a condensed point by point pamphlet booklet on exactly what Project 2025 is. Name the names of all the Trump lieutenants who wrote each section for Donald Trump to be dictator on day one. Have something that you can hand out to every single person who walks in the door at a Harris rally, a congressional, somebody running for Congress, somebody running for city council, whatever. Have them handy to get as many of these pamphlets in people's hands as possible and get them to read them. And then get properly outraged at what's really coming and start talking to their neighbors, talking to their friends, one-on-one. Become the media, not depending on the internet to do it for you. One-on-one, because after all, friends don't let friends vote for Donald Trump, especially 3 times, or anybody who has ever sucked his penis in their lives and continues to do so when they used to dismiss him as insane and deranged like Lindsay Ladybugs Graham or J.D. Vance used to do. This is the only way, one-on-one, to reach those so-called swing voters. And it's a hell of a lot better way to spend a windfall of over $200 million than on focus groups, internet ads, and big budget TV ads. Go to the people, communicate the easy way. It's not too expensive to print those things, and get one in the hands of every single person you possibly can, even if it means going door to door and sticking them in their mailbox. Lots of people are ready to help.
Weird people on the other side. They want to take books away. They want to be in your exam room. That's what it comes down to.
We're effectively run in this country by a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices that they've made.
My God, they went after cat people. Good luck with that. Turn on the internet and see what cat people do when you go after them.
The people who are most deranged and most psychotic are people who don't have kids at home.
There's nothing pro-family other than having women be incubators for their vision of this. Once again, it's weird. I don't want J.D. Vance talking about my family. I certainly don't want him talking about my daughter or my wife. It's none of his damn business. We have the radical notion that we trust women to make their own health care decisions.
I don't know Kamala. I served in the United States Marine Corps and I built a business. What the hell have you done other than collect a government check for the past 20 years?
They keep talking about the middle class that, as I said, a robber baron real estate guy and a venture capitalist trying to tell us they understand who we are. They don't know who we are. These are weird people on the other side.
Think gas prices are high now? Just wait until you're forced to drive an electric vehicle.
Electric vehicles don't have gas.
Exactly.
Yeah, boo. Yes. We don't want to pay $0. Boo. Exactly, right? You see, we got the electric vehicle, doesn't need gas at all. That's why you're going to be paying so much for gas. Okay.
And you think gas prices are high now? Just wait until...
To the stream. My name's Brian Craig. If you're new, this is where MAGA comes to talk. Well, I watched a fascinating interview with a Democrat activist over the weekend. I'm going to talk about this in some more detail and take calls on this on the next stream. But this Democrat activist, longtime progressive woman, and she was talking about how the Democrat Party is done. It's done. And she said it was very interesting because she's a liberal Democrat progressive trying to sound off the alarm bells to other progressive Democrats. And she was talking about why Trump not only is winning, but will win in November, and how MAGA Republicans are going to have total control over the country for many years to come because of what's become of the Democrat Party. And she was talking about how a lot of Democrats, they call themselves progressives, became Democrats, became activists, became progressives because they supported things like national health care, which is a god-awful idea. And she says, look what's happened. She says, we have Democrats marching in the street with terrorist supporters now. And she was talking about a lot of the things going on like that. And what's happened with the Democrats that has resulted in the end of their party as a political force, and this is what this progressive was talking about. She said, first off, they look at Charlottesville, right, and they see these racists at Charlottesville, and they say, those are Republicans, and all Republicans are those people. So she said, how can you have a political movement that right out the gate says half the country at least are racist. We won't talk to them and we'll have nothing to do. So you've written off half the country right there. And you only have half the country to pull support from after that, and they're not all going to agree with you. And the Democrat Party has been hijacked by these extreme lunatic fringe activists that were always there way in the background, and now they're leading the party. And really it started with AOC. And, you know, President Trump is doing so well for so many reasons, but one of the reasons he's doing very well right now are people that are lifelong Democrats are supporting him. You know, this amazing, I'm going to talk about this in more detail on the next stream and take calls on this too, after I go through what Obama did with Biden at this fundraiser, which we've got to talk about too. By the way, if you're new to my channel, my name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure you subscribe. You'll love my content. I'm just about to head off to work at the radio station. I'm in the driveway of my house right now. That great event that President Trump did in Detroit, the round table at the church, those were Democrats mostly that he was talking to. This is Detroit. These are black people in Detroit, Michigan. These are not just Democrats, they're lifelong Democrats and multi-generational Democrats because their parents and grandparents were Democrats too, probably. And here you have, everyone's so fascinated that Trump's sitting down in Detroit with average black voters, and that's a wonderful thing. But also he's attracting Democrats, and I don't think people in the media or even in the Democrat Party understand to what extent, you know, one amazing thing that is kind of in the background with Trump in Detroit over the weekend is there were no meaningful protests against him either in Detroit. Now, if you remember in the first campaign, remember Trump was going to go to Chicago and they started protesting in the streets? He wasn't even there. He had to cancel the event. And here he is in Detroit, planned out well in advance, and he's there at two different events in Michigan because he had the Turning Point thing after the church. No protest. No protest. You know, that's how popular he is in these Democrat strongholds. So these Democrats that are now supporting Trump, they're still registered Democrats. Okay, they're still registered Democrats. And you know what? They may vote for Democrats on some of the down ballot things, like maybe a governor or city council, maybe even school board, but they're voting for Trump. And that's where we've got to focus. And one thing that's so important is, you know, the this progressive activist I saw interviewed over the weekend. Her last name's Wu. I got to look up. She's white American girl. Last name's Wu, I believe. I got to look it up and get her name. But anyway, she was talking about this new thing that the Democrats have, that it's all or nothing. If you don't agree with them 100% on every single issue, that's it. You're done. Like as an example, you know, maybe you're a liberal progressive that supports gun control and nationalized health care. Yeah, okay. But if you don't support 8-year-old kids transitioning, all of a sudden they cancel you, okay? So all of us are going to encounter people like President Trump did in Detroit that are lifelong Democrats. And they're still Democrats, and they have a lot of liberal progressive ideas like national health care, okay? But they're going to vote for Trump for a variety of reasons. A lot of it's the border, a lot of it's the economy, whatever the reason is. And it's important not to push these people away and say, well, what do you think about abortion? What do you think about affirmative action? What do you think about this? What do you think about that? You know, it's enough that they're voting for Trump, because getting Trump back in November, back in the White House in January is what's most important. So when you encounter these Democrats, don't go after them with this quiz or litmus test and find that they're liberal on a whole bunch of things, because they probably still are. You know, they may be liberal on drug legalization, but they're voting for Trump, and that is so important. So, you know, we just don't want to alienate these people, because if you start quizzing them or give them a litmus test, they won't vote for Trump. They'll say, oh man, those MAGA crazy. It's very important, and there's going to be a lot of that debate quite possibly going on over the next few months, and it's so important to not do that. Nelson says, I'm in California. It's such a underrated state. I'm not sure underrated how, but I'm going to be going back out to California.
This said, take a look at what happened.
Move his spare. Hold. When you're ready. On you. Ready. Move. Up. Move. Go. Up. Hawkeye's here. Hawkeye's here. Move it to the spare. Spare, get ready. Spare, get ready. We ready? Shooters down. Shooters down. Are we good? Shooters down. Shooters down. Are we good to move? Shooters down. We good to move. Clear.
All it's gonna do is make them more popular, right? Bad shots, weak gun, I don't know, but all you can do is help them get elected.
If you are confused by what you just saw, that is 18-year-old Caleb Williams yielding a machete with his friends as they waved Trump flags and allegedly harassed two women outside a polling place in Florida. And yes, he was arrested for it. According to reports, a local Democratic campaign supporting Kamala Harris outside a polling place in a library in Jacksonville, Florida, was approached by the MAGA supporting teenagers. Neptune Beach Police Chief Michael Key described the incident during a press conference on Tuesday. Take a look.
The units arrived and found 8 young males, 7 of which were juveniles and 1 adult male, inside the parking lot of the polling location. The investigation revealed that the group arrived to protest and antagonize the opposing political side. The group then approached sign waivers along State Road A1A and escalated into a verbal disturbance. That then escalated to the point where the sole adult male of the group, Caleb James Williams, he's 18 years of age, of Neptune Beach, brandished a machete in an aggressive, threatening posture over his head. Mr. Williams decided to brandish that machete over his head at 2 female victims, ages 71 and 54 years of age, which were in fear at that point, had called the police, and we arrived less than 1 minute later. This goes way beyond expressing freedom of speech. To say your piece is your First Amendment protected right, but that goes out the window the moment you raise a machete over your head in a threatening manner.
Now, this is Caleb Williams right here. Take a look. According to Key, Williams was arrested for aggravated assault on a person 65 years of age or older and improper exhibition of a firearm or dangerous weapon, in this case, the machete. Williams made his first court appearance yesterday, where his bail was set for $50,003 for the first count and $5,003 for the second. Judge Mose Floyd said if the teen was to be released on bond, he would be outfitted with a GPS monitor not to go within 1,000 feet of a polling place unless it is for the specific purpose of your casting a vote. Well, Jank, I guess if you still can vote, you don't lose your voting rights. Is that our takeaway?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Donald Trump's convicted of 34 felony counts. He didn't lose his voting rights. Look, there's a couple of things in this story. Number one, I'm dropping him from my fantasy football team. I'm done with Caleb Williams. I didn't know he was going in this direction. Okay, seriously, this is as much entitlement complex as it gets. I get to bring a machete to a polling station, and I think that's normal, and I don't think I'll get arrested for it. As a Muslim American, I can tell you, I ain't bringing no machete to a polling station because that's not going to end well for me. Okay, if you're a black man in America, you think you're gonna bring a machete to a polling station? How's that gonna work out for you, right? But this brother thought like, no big deal. Of course I can do that. Now, good news is he couldn't. He was arrested. So, whew, that's a bit of a relief actually. And the other part of it is, if you're a Trump fan and your side's been getting called crazy and dangerous, do you think it's a good idea to show up with a machete to prove to people that you are not crazy or dangerous? Look, I get it. They're young, and young people do stupid stuff, but this is not a normal stupid thing. Do not try to intimidate people at the voting stations. Don't bring any weapons of any sort. And yes, as it turns out, even if you're MAGA, you do get arrested. So, not a great idea at all. Please, for God's sake, let's get it under control and let everybody vote.
Now, even though the election is a few days away, we have seen a growing number of instances of voter intimidation and threats at early voting places. Take a look at this video that was shared on X yesterday.
Her mother is from the highest caste. And in India, they have a caste system. It's like classes. You know, like we have lower class, middle class, upper middle class. Her mother was at the highest class. That's what the dot on the forehead of Indians stands for. It lets you know what caste. Okay. The lowest caste are the Dalits. They're called outcasts, street sweepers, and latrine cleaners. The next caste above that are called the Shudras. Those are laborers. The next class after that is the, I know I'm mispronouncing these, Vaishyas. Those are farmers, traders, and merchants. The next class above that is the Kshatriyas. Those are warriors and rulers. And then the highest caste, which Kamala Harris's mother was a member of, is the Brahmins. Those are priests and teachers. Holy smoke. That is something else, isn't it? Wow. Wow. Did you guys know that? Hold on. Let's get some more information on this before we move on. Let's see here. It says that her mother was of the highest class. Okay. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Let me look it up. Let's see. The Brahmins. I'm trying to copy and paste here. Like Kamala in her book. Copy and paste. I'm just copying and pasting so I can search for what this is. Brahmins are a Hindu social class or Varna that hold a high position in Indian society. They are the highest of the four Varnas or social classes in Hinduism. Wow. They traditionally served as priests and teachers at Hindu temples and socio-religious ceremonies. Wow. Wow, let me see. Let me see. So that, the dot, I want to see what color the dot is that they wear. I'm not sure. Let me see here. So I tell, wow. So I did not, did you guys know this? Yeah, that's right. So her mother is of the highest class. Holy smokes. All right, let's get back to this article. Let me see here. Kamala Harris's mother came from the highest caste in India. But by moving to the United States and Canada, obtaining a prestigious degree, marrying a future Stanford professor, having a successful career as a cancer researcher, and sending her daughter to private schools, yeah, she went to private school in Canada, Kamala became unusually disadvantaged and qualified for such a scholarship? I don't think so. Wow. Wow. So that is something. So Kamala Harris has stolen a law school education, right? Is that fair to say? What would you think? According to this, if this is true, and it's well sourced, did Kamala Harris steal a law school education? And you know what? I'm assuming she got like a full ride scholarship, right? If you get that kind of admission, are you paying for the law school? Stolen valor, just like Tim Walz. Yeah, stolen valor. That's exactly right. That's brutal, man. That's really terrible. Some poor kid that was truly disadvantaged did not get the law school education that Kamala got. She stole it from someone. That's right. That's right. Oh, here's Kamala Harris speaking today.
What do you say to those people, especially ones who might be concerned that, doing a big closing argument speech at a place like the Ellipse, maybe leaning more into talking about the threat of Trump to democracy and not his threats that you see to the economy?
This whole thing of calling Trump a threat to democracy is so reckless and irresponsible. A never-Trumper shot President Trump, all right? Shot him. Another never-Trumper tried to shoot him at the golf course, and they still go out there and say he's Hitler, he's fascist, he's a threat to democracy, he's a danger.
What do you say to those people, especially ones who might be concerned that, doing a big closing argument speech at a place like the Ellipse, maybe leaning more into talking about the threat of Trump to democracy and not his threats that you see to the economy?
One of the things that I love about the American people is we can hold many thoughts at once. And one of the highest priorities for the American people right now is bringing down cost, and that is the priority of my agenda and will be the priority of my work when I'm elected President of the United States.
What was that about? I mean, she didn't answer the question, just more gobbledygook.
Because the history of humanity has been the life of a person. Early man was like a newborn. You could barely stand up, can't talk, try to form words, surrounded by giant animals. Ancient Greece is like the 4-year-old kid just annoying people, asking questions all day. What's that? Why? Why? What's that? But why? Roman Empire is like the 13-year-old walking around cocky, bumping into people, snapping each other with towels in the baths. The Dark Ages, you're like the 19-year-old when you think the world revolves around you, until Copernicus proves it doesn't. It kind of shatters your whole idea of life. The Enlightenment, when you're in your mid-20s and you kind of feel innocent, like we can get along. Humanity is good. We can make this work. And the Industrial Revolution, when you're in your 30s and you get cynical, you're like, just give me my paycheck. I don't care. Just do my job. Every man for himself. And now, the digital age, we're all like the old person about to die. Everybody's hunched over, medicated, cursing at the news. Maybe we already are out to pasture. Spend most of the time in the house, numb, waiting for the bell to ring with an Amazon delivery. Jeff Bezos. 3 years from now, Jeff Bezos is going to get on every device in your house, whether it's on or not. And he's just going to be real and go, okay, here's the way it is. Nobody leaves your house from now on. You want something, tell us what it is, and we'll send it to you. We're sending you all a free pair of pajamas. Put the pajamas on. Start ordering stuff. Outside is over. It's inside from now on. Yeah, he's going to demolish outside. It'll be gone. You'll be like, well, what if I went fresh air? How many canisters of fresh air do you need? Yeah. Yeah. You go outside 3 years from now, there'll be nothing. Rats, roaches, and Amazon delivery trucks. That's it. So what do? We continue along this path, adding fuel to the fire, keep going down this bad road? Probably. Or, here's a radical idea. We start to look at ourselves, take some responsibility. See, we have people doing shit for us. We should be doing ourselves most of the time anyway. Could you hold this for me for a second? We look in the mirror and see ourselves as we really are and realize most of what everybody says about each other is true. The right can be a little racist, and the left can be a little fascist, and you can tell the Christians by their guns, and the liberals by their hatred of free speech. Is this what we're supposed to look? Is this what we really are? Let's honestly look at all 50 states and see what we become.
Wow. This is my right here. Wow. Why is it defending you? It's like defending me. All right, then shut the hell up and let me vote.
Okay, Jamie. Okay, we ain't got nothing else to say. We ain't got nothing else to say. Wow. Next thing.
There it is right there.
No.
Wow.
Oh, wow, God. Oh. Don't do that.
Wow.
And in a similar instance, Texas police said they arrested a man named Jesse Lutzenberger after he began punching an elderly poll worker who asked him to take off his MAGA hat. I mean, this is just definitely a problem, but it does seem like the problem is largely on one side, Jank. Am I wrong?
Well, so far, yeah. And guys, people have written into the show before, oh, I wore a Bernie shirt, or I bought a shirt at shoptyt.com and wore it to a polling booth or whatever. And then they made me turn this shirt inside out, right? I had to go to the bathroom, turn it on. Okay, so that happens. You can't campaign around a voting area. And I remember when I ran for Congress, I had to stand a certain number of yards away from the voting area because I had campaign material with me. This is actually a really well-known phenomenon. In fact, even then, Republican guys would come up to me and be really mad. Oh, you're near a voting area. I'm like, brother, I checked with them on purpose. I'm way past the zone. I'm with you, but that's not the situation here. They're like, I don't care, you shouldn't be anywhere near here. But they show up with a MAGA hat and they get super upset. Now again, look, different people, I get it. So once he takes the hat off, he's got every right to vote, okay? But no, MAGA, you are like, a lot of times you guys think you're special and you're victimized in a way that no one else is, and that people invented rules to rig it and I know why you think everything is rigged, because Trump told you. Oh my God, they're not gonna let you vote and it's all rigged and they're gonna switch your vote, etc. So everybody's on edge. But it's not rigged. You are allowed to vote. We still have the same rules. You're not allowed to campaign near the voting area. There's a certain number of yards you have to be have distance from. You don't get to have special rules. Like saying I'm a victim of injustice because I didn't get special rules and I wasn't above the law is not a compelling argument.
Yeah, and that last video, he gets physical with them. Like they have to restrain him. So it's like you say, Jank, these rules are not new and they are not trying to suppress Trump supporters. I mean, JD Vance amplified a picture, I believe, of a woman who just took off her shirt and voted in her bra because she was wearing a Trump shirt. And he's like, wow, what a hero. It's like, no, she's not. Like, we all know this. Like, sure, you want to wear something that expresses your views, and I think everyone should have a right to do that. I do think these rules are kind of ridiculous. It's one thing to wear campaign material because you're proud of your vote. I think that's totally fine. Campaigning like at the door, totally understand why you want to keep people away from like the immediate perimeter. That's fine. But some of these, like, I don't know, taking a picture of your ballot, that's one that really I never really get. It, especially now with the proliferation of cell phones, who cares? I think that's the one that really should be changed.
Yeah, and then we should lobby to change it and go through the normal process, and that's how it works. And so, look, is there 20% off at ShopTYT for election-related shirts? Sure. Should you wear them to the voting booth? As long as you turn them inside out, or take them off depending on the situation. Oh, use the code I voted to get that 20% off. ShopTYT.com. The link will be down below. And I'm going to do the same thing as that woman that JD Vance celebrated. Maybe I'll wear my balls to the walls, or abolish electoral college, or breaking shattered glass, so all that stuff. I'll wear it, and then when they tell me to take it off, I'll just take it off, and then I'll take a picture, shirtless, voting. Maybe not.
That'll break the internet. That'll break the internet in one way or another.
you could have just, again, turned it inside out. You didn't have to take it off and go in your bra. So, okay.
California soon to visit my daughter sometime over the summer. I'm not exactly sure when because there's so much going on, the conventions and everything. So I'm not sure when I'm going to make it out there. But, you know, there's a lot of California Trump supporters, you know, but they're still going to support, you know, the green crap. Fine. Let them support their green crap. We just need them to vote for Trump. That's so important because without Trump, the rest of it doesn't matter, you know. And when I was watching this progressive woman talk about how her own liberal progressive friends won't even talk to her anymore because she supports border security, but she's a lifelong Democrat who supports a lot of things like abortion, you know, on top of just nationalized health care and gun control and all these things. But she supports abortion. She's like, how can we, you know, every country has a border. Why can't we? But I think we should have border security. So all of a sudden I'm not a progressive, she says. You know, and we've got to be so careful not to alienate these new people like her in our party. I don't care about all that other stuff right now. You got to look at the big picture. And the big picture is Trump. I mean, when Trump was sitting at that table with those residents in Detroit, those were regular people. Do you think most of them probably were Democrats? I bet you they were. Not all of them, but most of them. Now, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. It's really amazing how popular Donald Trump is with so many of these groups around. It blows my freaking mind. Shauna says, in other words, don't rock the boat. That's exactly right. Don't rock the boat. You know, and that Trump vote is, the rest of it doesn't matter without Trump. Right? You know, like so many people, like I got a haircut over the weekend, and, you know, I tipped, you know, I've had the same woman cutting my hair for, I don't know, like 4 or 5 years. I don't know, maybe, well, since the barbershops opened back up. So like 3.5, 4 years. And I was wearing my Trump mugshot t-shirt, one of my Trump mugshot t-shirts. And she asked me about it. I said, oh, did you, I on the way out, I said, you know, Trump said, I don't really talk to her about politics too much. She's Hispanic and probably pretty sure she's left wing. And I told her, I said, you know, Trump is going to pass a law that you don't have to pay taxes on your tips. And she says, really? I said, yeah. And, you know, like when I get my haircut, the way it works now, getting haircuts are ridiculous. You got to make like reservations to get your haircut. You know, I never thought a guy would have to make an appointment to get his haircut. But I pay for my haircut before I even go. Right? I usually like Saturday, I wanted to get a haircut. So I looked, okay, 4 p.m. Okay, I clicked the time on, they have an app. This local barbershop has an app. And you pay in advance. And they also ask you to pay the tip. So I pay the tip on Apple Pay, you know, which I, you know, don't pay the tip in cash. I have very little cash. Who carries cash? You know, so that's, you know, they can't put the cash in their pocket. So it's taxed. And she says, really? I said, yeah, look it up. I told her. So I don't know. I didn't want to push her, but I am sure that not only is she going to look it up, she's going to tell the other barbers that they're not going to have to pay taxes on their tips anymore. And that is outreach. That's like knocking on doors. It's not just restaurants with writing it on the receipt, you know. It's a whole group of people larger than ever that are part of the tip economy. Hairstylists, barbers, pet groomers, Lyft drivers, Uber drivers. Like Uber and Lyft drivers and Instacart and Uber Eats and all that, you tip them. It's in the app. They don't know. So, you know, if you interact with, you got to tell them. Trump's not going to charge you taxes on your tips anymore. And they'll be like, what? And believe me, they know that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money for people. It's life-changing money. So, you know, you don't want to get into an argument with these people about the border or abortion or gun control because they probably support some of that nonsense. But they all want to keep more of that money, like everybody else. They want to pay as little in taxes as legally possible. So that's how you do outreach. Now, if you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe. And everyone could do me the favor of liking the video too. Liking the video helps spread the word about the channel. If you are new to my channel, I live stream every day. In about an hour, my next stream starts. I'll be in the radio studio taking live calls. I'm going to talk about this in more detail. And I'm going to lead, though, with Obama walking Biden off stage at that fundraiser and what that's all about. We'll talk more about that. The grocery delivery, yeah, my wife is disabled, so it's nearly impossible for her to go out and do the shopping and stuff. So so we do a lot of Instacart for our groceries and all of that. And she always tips them, Let them know that they're not going to have to pay taxes on those tips. Believe me, when you tell like the barber, when I told that to her, I promise you. When I left, she took out her phone and Googled it, right? And that's amazing. That's amazing. That's how we're going to win. Jimmy Kimmel is a mediocre talent. I don't know how we got that show. You're illegal? Okay, well, whatever. All right, guys, listen. I got to go because I got to hit the road and get to work. Again, if you're new to my channel, subscribe. And please, everyone, make sure you like the video because that helps spread the word about the channel. My name is Brian, and I'll see you in about an hour on the next stream. Take care.
It's not sustainable by any country what's happening to us in the United States. Millions and millions of people, 21 million plus, have been dumped into the United States, and many of them are murderers. Many of them are horrible criminals. What Kamala Harris has done is unforgivable. It's a crime, what she did. It's got to be criminal. There's no greater act of disloyalty than to extinguish the sovereignty of your own nation, and that's what she's done. She's ruined our nation. She's ruined our nation.
If you're a right-winger, you should be more mad at Trump than we are, because he's blown this election. Biden was at a -15 on approval rating, so he was in a disastrous area, and Trump was coasting the victory. Now Kamala Harris is at a +2. That's a 17-point swing for the Democratic ticket. Okay, that's just gigantic. It's as big as any I have ever seen in covering campaigns. So now Trump all of a sudden finds himself at -10 on likability against Kamala Harris. Oh my God, he's losing his mind. Because he thinks the world loves him. And he's like, Kamala Harris, have you seen her?
Trump tried to throw away your votes. When he failed, he sent an armed mob to the United States Capitol where they assaulted law enforcement officers.
Armed? They weren't
When
armed. What the hell is she talking about?
In his explicit intent to set free violent extremists who assaulted those law enforcement officers at the Capitol.
Can I just interject here for a second? This woman's really scary. It wasn't an armed mob. There's not one person inside the Capitol with a firearm, period. And the only person who was shot in the Capitol was an unarmed woman shot by one of Nancy Pelosi's bodyguards. She's saying that Donald Trump will free from prison violent extremists when she endorsed defunding the police and opening the prisons to allow actual criminals out, which is why the crime rate has spiked, to allow the population of Venezuela's prisons, Caracas's prisons are now living in the United States because of her. What she's saying is the mirror image of the truth. She doesn't care, and she's an extremist.
You fuck with Trump. You fuck with Trump. You fuck with me.
Hey. Whose house? They take him in waves. Get in there and get straight. Come back. They only got second wave. Give us that mask.
Shortly after this, I had taken refuge in the press gallery with a handful of other photographers. And as we were filing our pictures, we were evacuated by the Capitol Police to a secure, undisclosed location, where we were held for hours until we learned that the Senate and the House will be reconvening the joint session to certify the election. There's a cliche in photojournalism that says basically that a single photograph can tell and encapsulate an entire story in that one picture. So in the early hours of January 7th, I found myself walking through the rotunda, passing the east front doors where, just the day before, insurrectionists had breached the security of the Capitol. It really spoke to me that it really summed up, the day that I had just lived through, but also the day that we as an entire country had just lived through as well.